when I was learning sales, I couldn't sell anything. And obviously I was very focused on the outcome because I was broke. Like I needed the money.
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad. There was a day, I can't even make it up, where I was just writing down some of my thoughts, and I literally wrote down, I don't even care about the money anymore. I just want to win the game. And the next day I closed like my first sale.
Welcome back to the 4Media Uncut podcast. Today's guest, a young buck. I mean, I feel like all the ones on here are young bucks at this point, but a young buck making it out in the world by the name of Mr. Eric Fozz. Pretty cool story. This guy's been wrestling his whole life, trying to compete at a higher level. A lot of shit went off in his life. It took him years and years and years to try to make money online. It didn't work the whole time, but eventually he found a way to make it work in 2020. I'm not going to spoil the whole story, but all I'm going to say is this man is younger than a quarter century, which sounds like a lot, by the way. He's younger than a quarter century, younger than 25. And man, he is killing it in the game, helping hundreds of people change their lives and doing it all through a laptop, traveling to a different country, city, or state every single week. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
He's really taking on the 4-hour work week approach of just living around the world, working from a laptop, but he's done it in an amazingly cool niche, and he's carrying on the Pathfinder Dynasty, which you'll find out about in this episode. But yes, Eric is an awesome entrepreneur, super, super smart, wise beyond his years, and I know that you all will really enjoy this episode. So please enjoy Mr. Eric Fozz.
Well, Mr. Eric Fasnacht.
That's me.
Is that properly pronounced?
Fasnacht. Close enough.
Mr. Eric Fasnacht. You wanna?
We've gathered you here.
Thank you for your attendance.
Yes, dude, Eric, seriously, thanks for coming on. I know when I told you, Eddie was like, "Yo, I was like, are we gonna ask Eric on the podcast?" He's like, "Ask him." I'm like, "All right, this is gonna be good." So I was just like, "Yo, what's up? You ready to come on the podcast?" And he was like, "Dude, are you for real?" Like,
I was so pumped.
He's an actual fan of the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
legitimately, he's a big fan. So
Eric's
it's like,
the man, bro.
we're like pumped to have you on, and like you're pumped to be here. So
Yeah,
like,
I'm pumped. I've listened to almost like every single episode.
Well,
Yes.
fucking deserved, bro.
he told me earlier he's been thinking about his fortune cookie all day.
Wow.
Like, what am I gonna say?
That's a real one right there. That's a real one.
Yeah.
So, yo, give a background. I mean, you probably know more about the podcast than I do at this point. But give us a background of like what you do now, and then let's go back to like, I don't know, like, did you go to college or no?
A couple years. I dropped out.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Start in college.
No.
but
Tell
tell
us
me-
who you are first.
All right.
Yeah, like what do you do?
My name's Eric Fasnacht. I run a marketing company specifically that works with house painting companies. So the guys that come in and like paint your walls. That's what we do for them. Facebook and Instagram advertising, and then we also do some coaching on the appointment setting and sales.
You have a
side.
lot of clients. How many clients do you work with?
We are at like 78 active as of today, I want to say. And we got another like 18 to 20 in onboarding as we're just backed up a little bit as we're training new
In
people.
onboarding. So again, we have about 20 people begging us.
Literally.
Kind of.
That's awesome. And how old are you?
24.
That's
God
crazy.
damn.
Right?
He's a young one.
Got to put some respect on the young bucks out here, man.
That's right.
We've had a lot of good like young ballers recently.
I mean, most of the people that have been on here are like
Definitely in their 20s.
mid 30s or less.
Yeah.
Tends to be this industry, seems like.
Fair enough as well. You know what I mean? Like, what 7-year-old is gonna get on here and be like, "I do e-commerce.
Exactly.
I sell Facebook ads."
Like I sell lumber.
So, where are you from originally? Like state wise?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland. Show the camera your ears real quick because
Oh,
this is
yeah.
a big deal. You did wrestling your whole life.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna play a part in the story, I'm sure. So take me back to Cleveland, bro. Like, who were you? What was your family background? It's cool to know like where people came from,
Yeah.
like background wise, and then like why the fuck did you drop out of college?
No, it's interesting because I feel like the story always starts like in college. So, yeah, I don't know. Thinking back to it, I feel like I don't have like the normal story of like I was this like poor kid that, you know, this crazy thing. Like I grew up like upper middle class. Like
Same here.
Yeah,
Not a bad thing.
my parents did pretty well. Like we lived in a nice house. You know, growing up, my dad had nice cars. We did well. Went to private school, right? The whole 9 yards. So I grew up upper middle class. I didn't realize it at the time, but like looking back on it, like definitely within the last year or so, I realized how lucky I was with just really incredible parents. My mom was definitely like the superhero that like taught us work ethic and a lot of those things. And my dad was definitely the person that taught us a lot of like life lessons, like a lot of ways to think. My dad, again, realizing now in hindsight, my dad would never be like, this is what you should do here. It would always be like, well, I can give you my opinion, but ultimately this is your life. Like, what do you think you should do here? And then like, well, I would look at it this way, but ultimately you should do what you think is best. And it really, like in hindsight, it frustrated me in the moment, but in hindsight, it taught me how to think. So I had some really good parents growing up. I wrestled pretty much my whole life, as you can tell by my ugly ears.
No one said ugly, man.
It's not ugly. Yeah, it's actually not. It's
kind of badass.
They're like your character now.
But that's what you got to say, right? Like that's the phrase you say when you're out and about.
What? That they're badass? Oh.
No, that you're like, I got these ugly ears.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Great pickup line, you know?
Sure, yeah. And if people know what it's about, you know, sometimes people stop you. Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. So
yeah, it just means you got the shit beat out of you and you didn't land that many punches, I assume.
Sort of. Just joking. I mean, more or less. Your ears got busted up and you never got them drained or anything.
Oh, you can get them drained. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so cauliflower ear from wrestling, like, is just the cartilage breaks. Sounds really gross, but then it fills up with blood and pus.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get it drained, then it hardens up. And then it's like that forever.
No way.
But you can get it drained.
How quickly do you have to drain it?
Pretty quickly, like within the first couple days, first week. Which, like, if you're wrestling and you're at tournament and you're in the starting lineup,
it's hard to do that.
It's difficult.
If you're, like, really trying to win.
Yeah. So did you ever, like, try to drain him, or is it just kind of like one of those things?
No. So that was partially because of like where I was in college for wrestling. I realized this would be like skipping the story a little bit, but where I was I went to the University of Buffalo for wrestling my first couple years in college, a Division I school, and like the culture there was just absolutely crazy. Like, you can describe bad culture on a team and everything, but it was like think cult, but in like a bad way. Like I can't even begin to describe it. Like like if you were seen with somebody outside the team, if you were just seen with a girl at like Walmart, you were getting a run off the team because you can't get kicked off per NCAA rules. You were just going to get harassed until you finally quit. It was this really, really twisted culture. So part of that was like, dude, if I would have gotten my ears drained, like game over for me. Yeah. My life just would have been miserable.
Because they were just calling you a pussy?
Oh, no, more than that. Like, you'd get your shit stolen, just like the whole 9 yards. You'd get stuff thrown at you sitting before practice. Like,
you just
be
whoa.
Yeah, but like literally that. But then imagine like a fraternity where it's always a pledge class and every man is always for themselves. You had no team member. You had no.
Really?
I literally asked the coach about this my first couple weeks there. So my first week there, I got like 10 stitches in my eye. I got pink eye. I found out the house I was living off campus had bed bugs. Like, my first couple weeks were brutal.
Oh my God.
Just brutal. And I was talking with the coach and I was like, look, I expected everything in the wrestling room to be as hard as it is. I expected everything in the weight room to be as hard as it is. I didn't expect everything else outside of it to be as hard as it is. And he's like, that's intentional. He literally told me this. He's like, I want everybody on the team to hate each other. He goes, because then you'll train harder. He goes, if you don't like the person across from you when you're wrestling, you think you're going to hit them a little bit harder? Like, of course you will. I get that from a training point of view, but from a morale point of view,
definitely.
From helping, it was
Dude,
like
that's
the most twisted,
up.
effed culture you could possibly imagine.
Damn.
Yeah. So.
What a different outlook than, your father solving your problems with you. It's funny. So you told the father story. This is an important thing that just kind of pinged that I wanted to side note on. Something my dad did when I was younger was he always had me solve it first. Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't even give the answer. Like, he would I'd be like, hey, like, how come this? And he'd be like, why do you think? Like, okay, why is that? Okay, cool. And then I would eventually solve it or get close enough for him to
he's like, no, but it's this.
Yeah, which honestly made me really good at problem solving. I'd say like my actual number one skill set, like I got skills and shit. Like, I doubt someone could sell more than me, maybe as much. More, better, probably not. I have a lot of skill sets, but I'd say like problem solving as a core is one. Like, people come to me with like shit they can't solve to save their life, and in like 10 seconds, I'm like,
yep.
What about this? Fuck, you're so right.
In a lot of ways, I think I have the same skill set because of the same things. And it's weird. I didn't realize like certain things my dad was doing and how beneficial they were to me until I started doing them to my team members. Right. Until I started just naturally doing the same things to them. And then I was like, where did I figure this out? And I'm like, oh, my dad used to always do this to me, which has been really cool. I'm much more thankful now. I send my dad a text like once every couple weeks that I'm like, yo, I just realized I do this and this. Like, thank you. Like, so
That's awesome.
it's been
Dude, I have another tangent. I'm sorry, this is so off topic.
No, it's fine.
But it's on the dad thing. This is just the craziest shit I've
You're
ever
a
heard
dad
in my
now
life.
too.
I'm a dad now. Yes, more dad
Holy
shit.
shit.
I'm a dad now.
We didn't even address that on the last
Is this my
podcast,
first
by the way.
episode?
No, Kendall's was, but we didn't even address it. Like, we didn't even bring it up. Maybe you did a little bit.
I mean,
but
I'm a fucking dad, bro. Go follow me on Instagram.
Happy Father's Day, by
See
the
my
way.
little girl. Thank you. Thank you. You know, proud father here. Real talk though. Crazy shit happened. Long story short, I consult someone. They went on vacation for a week. Came back. I was like, hey, didn't want to bother you on your vacation. Here's some shit we really need to talk about in your business. XYZ. And person goes, I was like, but like, how's your vacation before we get to there? And she's like, it wasn't a vacation. My husband and me took an ancestry test a month ago. And turns out, like a week after they got the results, they got an email saying, match potential father. And they started doing some digging. They ended up talking to the guy, finding him, meeting him. Turns out this dude, by the way, the guy's 55. You know, the guy who's discovering this. The father is 83. Like, just for reference. Do you get my point? Like, it's like your parents finding out that their dad isn't their dad at the age your parents are right now. Great, bro, like a movie from genetics.com or whatever, you know, like ancestry.com. They just went and spent a week with like his actual dad who he's never met. And by the way, both his parents are gone. So like mom took this shit with her to the grave and knew the whole time. And the dude told him that she knew the whole time. Like crazy. Bro, imagine a 55
You want to talk about a midlife crisis.
Dude, sorry, this is so off topic, but you said dad, and I was like, dude, this is a story so worth sharing on the podcast. Like, I even told my wife today, I was like,
crazy.
I was like, please remind me about this person so that I can tell you this story today. Like,
wow.
bro, it's like a movie. I'm like wrapping my head around. I'm like, dude, what would you do?
Your mom and your dad die, and you're like already like way older, and then you find out that your dad was not even your dad.
It's like, you know what I mean?
55 years old and meeting your dad.
Bro,
Like,
you
oh
have
my
kids.
God.
You know what I mean? It's like so
insane.
weird. It was.
insane.
They said it was super weird because like they were nothing alike at that point. You know what I mean? It was,
Yeah,
like,
you don't
so
even know
funny.
each
Yeah.
other. You've lived a whole life, basically.
Yeah, so long story short, a lot of lessons can come from some dads here. So shout out to our dads out there.
that was a Father's Day special, right?
So
There we go.
So was part of you dropping out of college due to wrestling?
That was the reason I stayed in college as long as I did.
Whoa. Okay. So what
I
were you trying to
went-
study?
So I went undecided. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just
You
like,
applied undecided? You can do that?
I think maybe.
maybe. I don't know. If not, I just picked something.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
no idea.
You're like, fuck it. I want to study bugs.
Or something. I was going back and forth between like education, psychology, and whatever. In hindsight, I wish I studied psychology. But yeah, I was mostly going for wrestling at the beginning. I knew I was going to study something, but I knew I wanted to wrestle. That was my whole life, like first grade all the way through.
Did
end
you
of
think
high
you were going to
school.
go pro? Or
There
did
really is no pro for wrestling.
Yeah, MMA, I guess.
Yeah, MMA or like Olympics.
So you have to learn striking at that point.
Yeah, so really
Yeah, but even Olympic athletes don't make that much money.
Like, no one cares
there's very
about
few,
them.
especially
Yes.
in wrestling. Like
There's
very
no
few.
attention.
Yeah, so like NCAA Division I is like the highest stage in the sport aside from like Olympics or World Team. I knew it was going
That
to
kind of
take a lot.
sucks.
Yeah. Like
Like
if you
your
want to make
whole
money, in it,
life,
if you want
yeah.
to make a career, you go coach
Oh, that's the
You know.
only way.
for the most part.
I guess there's a career in it. That's the career. I didn't like that.
And you really got to coach college at that point too.
Yeah,
to
for
make
sure. Yeah.
$70,000 a year.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
that's the peak of a vertical. You know what I mean? 70 grand's like not bad money. It's just bad money if that's the most money you could possibly make in this career.
there's maybe a couple like the head coaches for like Penn State, Iowa, like some of the really good teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they make more. I don't know for certain.
Yeah.
But,
I'm sure they do.
yeah. But yeah, I went mostly for wrestling. And was undecided there. I kind of got in a weird spot. This is kind of where the entrepreneurial journey starts. I was at Buffalo. In the last few years prior to that, like in high school and everything, again, grew up upper middle class and everything. We always had like what we wanted in a lot of ways. But after '08, money became a conversation. I was young a lot of times, so I didn't necessarily understand it, and my parents hid a lot of it. But money was a conversation. Money was always tight, right? And I knew that. So me being the stubborn wrestler I am, I'm off in Buffalo, New York, away from my family. I had a few $1,000s saved up. I'm a full-time Division I athlete. I don't really have time for a job or any of those types of things.
Can you even make money when you're a college athlete? Are you allowed
could have
to?
a job. Yeah, you could have a job. You can't. Well, they just switched it, but you couldn't make money off your name or likeness as an athlete.
But now you can.
As a wrestler, you're not gonna do anyways. For the most part.
Yeah, what would you get? Like a sponsorship from some random singlet company or some shit?
There's some of that like going on now, but to what level I'm not really sure.
Yeah. That's pretty funny though.
So yeah, like during the summer, like I had a little job where I worked like 2 or 3 hours a day in between practices type deal. But yeah, for the most part, it was really difficult to have a job of any sorts. So my stash of money naturally started depleting, right?
Yeah.
And I was too stubborn to ask for money because I knew my parents were struggling. You know, I knew they were fine, but I knew, them sending me a few $100, like it was going to hurt. So I was too stubborn to ask. So what does every kid naturally do? Searches on their computer. How can I make money online in a few hours a day or something, right?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I would have been...
You're in college, right?
Yeah, so it would have been like 19 at the time, probably 18,
Okay.
19. Where I just started researching, right? I got down the drop shipping rabbit hole, deep down the drop shipping rabbit hole.
That was when it was good, though.
Yeah.
That was when, like,
I wasn't
you
very
could
good
drop
at it at the time, but...
Yeah. But, like, those were times when, like, you could do it and make a fuck ton of money.
Yeah. So, watched some webinars, created some drop shipping stores, flipped some stuff on eBay, whatever. Never really had a lot of success while at Buffalo. But
dude, if you just stuck to that,
yeah, potentially we could be bajillionaire.
A bajillionaire.
Bajillionaire. He'd even go for like 100 million. Bajillion.
Just straight bajillionaire.
$1 bajillion.
So what happened with drop shipping? You just lost money.
I lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of money, but I transferred to a Division II school. In Ohio, closer to hometown. That same year, so
Buffalo was Division I.
Buffalo's Division I in the MAC.
So why'd you downgrade?
I was starting to fall in love with business, and at this
Wrestling
point,
became less of a priority.
Sort of. A lot of time, I was very confused, honestly, at this point in my life a little bit, and I wasn't like fully there yet. But I kind of thought I just didn't like wrestling anymore. I was so miserable.
Yeah,
most miserable years of my life. I don't know how, but I had enough intuition to be like, I don't think I just hate wrestling anymore. I think I just hate it here. So my goal was like, I just want to wrestle and like find the love for this sport again. That was it. Cause like, I think there's a lot of athletes out there that like, they like it, but like they complain about it all the time, right? Like they don't want to go to practice certain days. Like, no, I loved it every second. Like I loved it. So that was kind of the big reason. And it would give me a little bit more time to do other things or whatever. So I transferred to Division II school, and then I had a little bit more time naturally because it wasn't as intense, right? Had a little bit more time to continue exploring the business world of everything. Had a few shipping stores that did decent, right?
Okay.
Decent, no, I mean horrible, but like better. Right? I was making sales.
Yeah.
To have stores that did like $6, $7, $8 a month, but would make or lose $100, right? They weren't really profitable.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I learned a lot about Facebook ads in the process, a lot, right? And just basic web design, all that stuff, right? So fast forward, I'm still a broke college kid, like broke, stubborn all the way down to like $2.60 in my bank account.
Get out, bro.
Oh yeah. So there was a point where I was so stubborn.
I want to think like what the lowest point of mine was because I actually screenshotted it. I want to say, like I'm talking like post college. You know what I mean? I think the lowest I saw one time was like 150 or something. Like
Holy shit.
And I was like,
whoa!
Thank God I live in my family's house. Like that.
So I was have the screenshot.
I can't find mine because I switched phones and cards and everything. But
the exact number was $2.67.
Bro, what?
Yeah. So to paint the picture, right? I'm at Ashland University. That was a Division II school. I finally enjoy the sport again, right? Find some of that. figure some of this out, right? I turn 21 years old. Okay. I have $2.67 in my account.
I buy a beer.
No. But
I'm down to 42 cents.
it's my 21st.
Damn, it was refreshing.
But no, it's my 21st birthday. So what happens on my birthday is my car registration expired, right? Because of my birthday.
Classic.
I was driving a $500 Ford Bronco as it was. So I actually sold a different car I had and then bought that one. So I like made $1,000 on it and had more money to run my drop shipping stores.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I completely bet on myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had this little Celica. I sold it for like $2,000, then bought that one for $500 and had $1,500 to go
For
run
ads?
Think about the fact that you could buy a truck for $500.
Yep. Oh, this
That's
thing was
hilarious.
A piece of crap.
He
Just
spent
like-
3 trucks worth in ads, to put it in perspective.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so I had this $500 Ford Bronco. The expiration expired and like coolant was leaking out of the radiator. And I couldn't afford to do the registration or get my new license. So literally I had this little push scooter because I used to like skateboard and like do tricks and stuff like way
Bro,
back
don't
when.
you have fucking anxiety with $2.60? Like, that's just so low for
I
me.
mean, I
I'm
did
like,
at the time.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm dead by tomorrow morning. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like, that's not like I got a week. It's like, what?
Yeah, you're dying in like a couple
you're
of
dead.
years.
You're drinking from like faucets.
Well, keep in mind, like I was 20. I just turned 21 at this point.
Yeah.
So, and even though like my parents weren't paying for any of it because I wasn't asking for it, like they did cover my rent.
Okay,
and
okay.
like basic stuff. So like I knew I still had a roof over my
Oh, you
head.
had, yeah, you had
Okay,
backup.
okay.
I just
Okay,
knew I
okay.
might be hungry.
Yeah, I was the same way. Like, I don't remember, to be fair, my first thing was, thank God I live with my family. You know what I mean? So that was my backup to being riskier,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
exactly. And I knew like if something absolutely crazy happened, like it's weird. My entrepreneurial story of being broke and whatever was in a lot of ways like self-induced. Like I'm sure if I reached out to my parents, I was like, "Yo, I need $50," like they'd be like, "I got you," right?
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about not reaching out and being able to do it.
It was about the stubbornness, right? I think it was about a lot of what that taught you in a lot of ways. So yeah, I was literally eating like eggs and like bread. Like that was it. Like I'd go to the Save-A-Lot, buy like a carton of eggs.
I
and a
still
loaf of
just
bread.
eat eggs and bread.
Same, I'm like, I buy fancier bread, but
Nicer bread. You got some cheese on there now.
And I had a
Like,
couple
come on.
extra eggs. Yeah. Maybe some avocados. Getting
Yeah.
wild.
There you go. Right.
bro, during the pandemic, you could get a dozen eggs for 60 cents. I always just thought about how crazy that was. Like at Aldi, like I would pay 60
Bro,
cents.
a dozen eggs right now is like
$2.
10x.
It's so stupid. Yeah, like even at the cheapest place, like the cheapest you could find a dozen eggs is like $2 now
I don't even think that cheap.
at Aldi, bro.
At Aldi's, yeah. Like,
Aldi's wild.
Aldi's is nice.
I need to go to Aldi's more, actually.
Aldi's
It's
is
so
a
cheap
spot.
and it's like
There's one right
solid.
across the street from me.
Yeah. Anyways, shout out Aldi's.
Aldi's is good. Yeah. Shout out Aldi's. Free sponsorship.
So 260.
But yeah,
And then
267
what?
in the account. So I was literally like riding a scooter, like a mile to campus,
Mm-hmm.
back
Like a
and
razor
forth and
scooter?
stuff. Like essentially, yeah, like a nicer version of that. Like when
With like
you're
the
doing tricks
handlebars, you
on
could
it.
like flip and shit.
Yep,
It
exactly.
folded and shit.
Some Tanner Fox action.
Yeah, like so I used to like in like 7th and 8th grade, I would do tricks on a scooter like that. I can still bust a couple if I have one.
Damn.
I busted
Dude,
a
I
couple
res-
shins doing that.
I actually respect the scooters now. There's a lot of like
Everybody
crazy
hates on
scooters
them.
now. Dude, now there's
It's
some
because
crazy
they came
scooters
when
and
the
you're like,
skateboarders were there.
you're
So
like, okay, you're way too good at that. Like, I can only applaud you.
Right, you're doing like double backflips. Like, come on.
Like, okay.
if you think about it, it's just a skateboard with a handle.
Kind of.
Sort of.
But people just
With
hated
2
on it.
wheels.
So you
But
could
yeah.
do some wild shit.
No, but like it's one stick coming out of a skateboard.
But it's only got 2 wheels instead of 4.
Oh, good point.
But yeah.
Anyways,
Like conceptually.
so you were driving
Yeah.
your push scooter.
Yeah, I was riding a push scooter back and forth to campus, like sometimes in the snow, just like it was brutal. Right, I'm not even kidding.
Stop, bro.
Yes.
Wait. I mean, let's go back. You still haven't solved my problem. I still have anxiety here. Where I have $2.60. And like how long? You're like, and so I started scooting to. I like, how'd you make money from there? Like, did you
So-
have anything like a part-time job, something, or
So this is where a lot of it came together, right?
how long did you have $2.60 for?
Probably a couple weeks.
No fucking way, bro.
It was pretty brutal.
Do you understand why I'm anxious right now?
Yes.
Like that was probably the lowest
Like
point
he's
of
just
the week.
dodging this
No, I was
question.
like $12. You know, it like dwindled for a couple weeks.
Did you
And
even
then
have a
that was, like,
credit
my last
card?
Week. I had one, yeah. I had one like Discover It card or something.
Like if I have to swipe this into debt,
Yeah,
I will.
I was pretty good with that though.
All right, now I'm good. So you're scooting. Now we're back.
So that's
I
over
had to
that
get
like
that out the way,
that's over that like month, right? It's $12 or whatever, dwindled down to $2.
I got you.
But yeah, I realized at that point, eventually put my stubbornness aside where I was like, I don't even have money to run ads anymore or like fulfill products or whatever. So I was like, okay, I need to apply for some part-time jobs, whatever, because at that point we were coming up on summer too, right? So I was going to have a little bit more time. It wasn't summer training for Division 2 wasn't nearly as intense as Division 1. So I was like, cool, I can get a part-time job for a little bit. School's ending. So one of the guys on the team there, or one of the guys that had graduated and still came back and kind of helped a little bit, worked at a remodeling company in the area. So he got me in there and I got a part-time job as an appointment setter. And this was like, it was a local company. You wouldn't think it was a massive company if you walked in the office, but like they did like probably like 12 to 15 million a year. Like it was a decent sized company. They were a sales and marketing company that also happened to do good remodeling work.
Yeah.
They were good. So I was an appointment setter. I was an entry level. I was a call center person. I was an entry level salesperson. And I came in there and first couple weeks were brutal. And then pretty quickly I was like one of the top people in our little call center.
Yeah.
I just learned and got really good really fast. And my manager at the time.
How many people are in this call center? I mean, it's only doing 12 million as a business. So like how many
like
sales
3
people?
to 5. Not
Okay,
a lot.
okay.
We had 3 to 5 people in the call center.
It sounded like there was like 30 people in this call center.
Cool. Like 3 to 5 in the call center. One kind of like senior person that would be like the confirming department is what we called it.
Like sales
then,
manager kind of.
Sort of, kind of like they managed a lot of the different lead flow and some of the like higher priority leads.
Okay.
And then we'd have about like 8 to 10 designers, salespeople. And the call center would set up the appointments for the salespeople.
Nice.
To do the stuff in-house. But while I was there, I just kind of like casually mentioned and I'd mentioned it in my interviews and whatever, but I mentioned it to the manager that like, I was running Facebook ads for these dropshipping stores. And I was like, they were running like, they ran this home improvement giveaway, which from a marketing point of view is genius. We ran a home improvement giveaway. We would call them to verify their entry to the giveaway and then just gradually transition it to an appointment. It was so slick. It was one of the most profitable lead sources in the entire company. But I saw they were running a giveaway ad on Facebook and it was horrible. It was literally just like $10,000 home improvement giveaway. That was it. Like no call to action, like nothing. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So
Back in the day, just boomers would be like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They were still getting like $2 leads with it. It was insane.
Think about that.
It was like $3.
Just literally a button that's just like, we're giving away something. And people are like, I'm clicking that right now.
Yeah. It was literally $10,000 home improvement giveaway, slideshow, enter, giveaway.
That sounds like such a
leads,
scam.
like just something. Yeah. But, so I just mentioned, I just casually mentioned, I was like, hey, I saw this, like, I've done this a lot, like, would be interested in helping if there's anything I can do to help, whatever. And within like less than my first month there, she sat down with me and the owner and we kind of looked at things together a little bit. Like, shout out to my old manager, Taylor, in a lot of ways. Like, in a lot of ways, she's what gave me that first step. So I took over their giveaway ad, like actually created a real ad, like dropped their lead cost in half, right? They realized like, okay, like kind of knew what I was doing with this. Eventually, I'd been telling them for a while, like I wanted to run ads for the other products, kitchens, baths, that sort of stuff. And they said no for a little while and they were going to fly out to this other company that was doing like a lot more revenue than them and crushing with Facebook. And they were like, they're going to teach us a bunch of this stuff and we have no idea what they're even going to be talking about. So they actually flew me out with them. And it's funny, like this is going to sound cocky and arrogant, but at the time I like listened to everything this guy was talking about and this whole thing. And I was like, dude, I can do this 20 times better than you.
Yeah.
Like I was asking questions and he was like, like he didn't know the answer. I was
Like,
like,
yeah.
I'm running circles around you.
Yeah,
and
you
I'm
were
20
actually
years old.
running ads and he was like spending money on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Yeah, it was crazy.
He like knew it was possible to make a lot of money, but he himself had like
No,
not
he did.
actually done
No,
it.
he did. He's just saying like he was.
The other guy.
No, he was killing it. Remember?
The other, yeah, they were doing well. I mean, and this was a
but you
huge-
realized you knew way more.
Yeah.
This was
Gotcha.
a huge company. Like they had locations like all over PA and Georgia.
Oh,
and,
so you were like, I'm already light years ahead of this dude.
and this dude was running.
Gotcha,
So he's
gotcha.
spending tens of thousands a month, right, across the whole like Midwest in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
they have a
which
lot of
back then was
locations.
like a fuck ton. For example, you know, like when no one was spending on Facebook.
I'll boost for $10. See what happens.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The amount of painters I have come to me that still like that's still their story. It's
Everyone.
crazy, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I realized this guy was going through everything he was doing, and I was just running circles around him in the conversation. And I think like the owner, my manager, like saw that. So we came back, and like the next week I got some campaigns live. There were some hiccups in that first month or two, working some kinks out, and then in like 2 or 3 months, it was like the second most profitable lead source in the entire company compared to the giveaway. Like just absolutely insane compared to all the other things. Granted, that didn't have like an agency fee in there, right? I was basically doing it for free.
Yeah.
So I did that for a few months. And at this point, like I was still running the drop shipping stores. I didn't want to have shiny object syndrome by any means, but I started looking at it and I'd heard of this whole like agency model, and I started adding in. I'm like, all right, what if I charged them $1,000 a month? What if I charge them $1,500 a month? And I looked at it, I was like, dude, even if I charge them $1,500 a month, it's still the second most profitable lead source in the company. I'm like, this is like a real thing. Like I have this proven result. I see how this works. Like this is my ticket out in a lot of ways. And at this point, like I'd fallen in love with the game of business. Like I still loved wrestling, but like I hated school. Like I just wanted to be done and like go chase this crazy thing. I wanted to be able to make a lot of money from anywhere in the world. Like that was the mission. I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to be able to see things. So I was like, this is my ticket out in a lot of ways. So sat on it for a couple months. It was probably one of the most difficult decisions I made, just because of the wrestling point of view, not the school point of view. But ultimately, dropped out would have been like right at the start of 2020. So dropped out.
COVID?
Then. Yeah. So I moved in with my brother at the beginning of February. By the time like classes finally wrapped up, lease expired, you got your apartment taken care of, whatever. It was like end of January. So I moved with my brother at the beginning of February into his spare bedroom. I converted that W-2 job into a client, right? So they were paying me $1,000 a month. Had my first client, opened up the LLC, moved in with my brother through February, and then COVID. So I only had 2 clients when COVID came because I got a referral from them. So yeah, pretty much the entire business has been built since COVID.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But that's kind of the story in a short version.
Yeah, but you just like skipped over the whole good part. You're like, then I started my company.
And now we're successful. Even after COVID.
like,
That's how it
all
works,
right,
kids.
well,
That's how it works.
Hey,
We built it from ground zero, and now we're rich.
We want to know a little bit more, Eric.
Nope, that's all.
Like
you do.
imagine
You
getting
start a
like
company.
Jeff Bezos on a podcast. It's just like him talking about his childhood, and he goes, and then I started Amazon, and here we are.
That's all you got to do.
Like
And now with Amazon Web Services, I own the internet. So that's pretty wild.
actually crazy. I think Amazon and Google are just going toe to toe on data right now.
It's
actually
insane.
ridiculous.
It's insane.
So what the fuck actually happened, bro?
Yeah. So what happened in COVID?
COVID happened.
Did a lot of painters like stop for a while, or were they just like, fuck it, we're
I feel
putting
like
on
they did
masks?
more.
So here's the thing.
We're like, well, I'm
more
putting on
people
a
were
mask and I'm painting, bro.
No, here's the thing. During COVID, more people were renovating their homes in their backyards than ever before.
They were. What a lot of people ran into, though, was depending on restrictions in different areas and everything, you weren't allowed to have people out at your house.
Yeah.
Certain people got around it depending
That's
on
rough.
how like their licenses were registered,
Or,
if
like,
they were an
if they were
essential
illegal
service.
or-
There was some of that. I mean,
Like
also
it's,
that.
it's hey, I'm an essential
No
service,
problem.
bro. It's essential that this wall is blue.
Dude, when we were kids, my dad would just go to Home Depot and like pick the 4 hardest working looking guys. It just, you know what I mean? Those guys had no problem during COVID getting into homes.
Dude, those guys crush it.
Yeah. But
For real.
so I don't, in a lot of ways, like, I don't know, like COVID didn't affect us much because I had 3 clients, my W-2 job, and 2 referrals, and one of them paused. Like, okay, I lost like $800.
Yeah, you didn't have like payroll.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I was making $2,000 a month at a time living in my brother's spare bedroom.
Yeah, for me, when COVID hit, we were servicing a ton of businesses that did birthday parties for kids. Big niche that we were like very strong and confident in. And we had people that were in e-com at the same time, and also people that were in auto. And we lost every single client
I believe
from
it.
the birthday side.
A
I'm talking
handful on the
29
auto.
29 people in 24 hours. That was our
29
whole,
clients.
it was our whole business.
Yeah.
Like in one day. Like imagine. Dude, like in
All
one,
the FECs are just like, peace, bro.
we're literally shut down by the government. What am I going to do? Charge them another month? Like I'm not going to do that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no.
It's so funny. I sat Gabe and Fredo down. I was like, listen, I'm now doing sales again. And that is how we built For Me.
That's the whole thing. That's it.
Bro, that's so true.
You're so funny, bro. No, I just wanted to pull an Eric. You know what I mean? That's all it was. I just said that and it was over.
That was amazing.
No, so what happened? So you had some income coming in. Didn't you take Joel's program too? Isn't that how I met you?
Yeah, we met through there. I wasn't in Joel's program initially.
It's like what got you into it? Who'd you watch? Like you watched someone, right? Like
to meet Joel?
No, just like marketing and agencies.
Sort of. I mean, it was
like
a lot
on
of just
YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, it was just a lot of just like random YouTube
gotta
stuff.
love YouTube.
I went like 5 months probably ish without being able to sell a single thing. Like I was getting some appointments. I was figuring that part out. I was like literally showing up people with like like a Google slide or two that was like, look, like these are the results of these campaigns. Like this is the result I did for this other company north an hour in Cleveland.
And they're just like, I'm not buying it.
Couldn't get people to buy. Nothing, bro. Nothing.
You're like showing them every result possible, case studies, reviews. And
I'm like, look, this company.
Don't believe it.
This company's your competitor and almost like identical to you. And no, nothing.
That's hilarious.
So I came across like Rob Quinn on YouTube and invested into his coaching program to learn sales. Grinded that out for a couple months. Really learned that, and then from there we built Pathfinder Marketing in a lot of ways. But from there, that's where a lot of it happened was learning sales, and obviously there's been other things along the way. But then it started growing. Like I finally got the first one, and then it was like we were closing like one a week, and then it grew and grew and grew and grew. So that
how are
was
you
a
finding
pivotal
painters?
Moment. Well, initially it started as more like remodeling companies and contractors because that's what I knew. It was a kitchen and bath company.
Dude, I have a course and I have probably like 500 students at this point, and my most successful people are actually people who are contractors.
Really?
Because their AOV is so high. Like they can run an ad, have someone apply and do a basement for $75,000.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, that $2,000 of ad spend became insignificant.
Yeah. Their numbers, it's interesting. Like when you break down some of those things, it's interesting. A lot of people will often look at like contracting niches as like marketing agencies, and they'll go, oh, I want to do this because they do a $40,000 kitchen.
Yeah.
What they don't realize is like, okay, but that $40,000 kitchen cost like $20,000 in material or whatever it is. So you got to be able to deliver a higher value. Like typically the number, at least at the remodeling company I always used to work at, and the same like benchmark we hold in Pathfinder is 10% cost of marketing or less. So like every dollar in of like total marketing service, at least $10 or more back. So like you're talking about like you got to at least at a minimum 10x your return.
Yeah,
So-
but you're talking as a company whole, not directly associated to the campaign.
Correct. Yeah.
what I
Well,
mean?
we want that like per lead channel. Like on Facebook, I want 10x. On Google, I want 10x, et cetera, et cetera.
Not necessarily, right? Because like, let's say you're a painting company and you bring in $100,000 a month, okay, without ads.
Yeah.
So if I run $10,000 in ads and we make $110K, it's still less than 10% of my total spend.
Yeah. So it's funny. This is a conversation I have on sales calls all the time because I think this is a big misconception in the contracting industry. A lot of people think it's 10% of like total revenue. But the problem with that is like when you have a very small company, like then you can't like if you have cash in the bank, like you're limiting your ability to scale in a lot of ways. And the remodeling company I worked at, we took it as like per lead channel in a lot of ways. So typically how I see like really successful painting and remodeling companies break down is you have all these different lead channels. You have Home Advisor, Facebook, Google, all these different things. If you can get all of those to less than 10%, 8%, 9%, 10%, whatever, then you also have your word of mouth and referrals, which makes up a big part of a lot of these companies. And then when it all shakes down, because that's obviously 0%, you end up like somewhere between 5 to 10 and have a really healthy company.
You like working with these guys, honestly?
I actually love it. Yeah.
I saw you go to like a painting conference or something.
I've been to a handful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
have you ever like done it yourself?
when I was living with my brother for that period, my brother has a lot of rental properties. He's in real estate, but like they're like C-class rentals, not like these like luxury rentals.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, we
I mean,
would.
that's where you got to start is the
Yeah.
C-class. I was buying C-class
Yeah.
like 4 years ago. And then I realized I fucking hate this shit. No, it's just like for like 1 or 2 doors, it's like really exhausting and such a distraction to actual like life and growing financially in life. But I feel like, you know, I would invest in like, you know, 60 units or 30 units, for example. But it's just one was just such a headache for nothing. Like, sure, you build
the
equity,
manager
exactly,
too.
But you're making $180 a month net.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you're paying off a mortgage, but like, what? This is not worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah. My brother, he was like a property manager for multiple years at like some of the biggest like complexes in Columbus. So he learned a lot of stuff about just like almost like ruthless property management in a lot of ways. So he's really talented in that regard, and that's why it's worked for him. He's probably got like 40, 60 units.
For sure, but he started with 1 unit. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
He started with it not being worth it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so a lot of times during that period, like I'd work all day, he'd work all day, and then we'd go like work on a property because we were rehabbing it ourselves, right? To save a lot of the cost, self-taught on YouTube. So like I've painted, I've done some flooring, but like not to the level any of our clients are. But like I understand it enough, you know? So
That's
Do
funny.
you see this like long-term being your niche, or like honestly?
in a lot of ways.
You know,
I don't know.
We can
I
just
don't.
beep this whole part out, you know?
Yeah, no, we're selling it for a quick bag. But no, I mean, I think a lot of
She's like, Pathfinder Marketing, I already have a buyer, we're selling tomorrow.
this is the announcement. But no, I think a lot of, you know, marketers in the agency space, that's the game. Like, how can I scale this to 2 mil and take a quick exit and, you know, whatever. I don't know. I really fell in love with the industry. Like, I actually really enjoy working with painters.
Mm-hmm.
So I see it long term. Like, here's the thing I realized. We probably had like 20, 30 clients. And what I realized was this industry, they're really good at painting, but like nobody just taught them the other stuff that like we learn in school and through mentors and coaches we invest in. Like I had, there's 2 examples that stick out to me. And this is why we do the coaching calls now. I had a guy call me at one point. I was the sales guy, the client success person. I was all of it. And he called me and he's like, hey man, like these leads don't work. Like nobody's closing. I can't. I start walking him through it. He's like, I can't collect a deposit while I'm there. I'm like, well, dude, walk me through your sales process. He walks me through the whole thing. And he's actually doing it like perfectly. Like everything's really good. He just didn't literally ask. So I was like, dude, at the end, just ask. Just be like, cool. And Kathy, you can make out the check out to, just add that, do everything else the same. He calls me back like a week later. He's like, bro, I just closed like 2 or 3 people and collected deposits. And I'm like, stop it. Like, it was just so easy. That's
how most of these guys are, bro.
So
At
many.
the end of the day.
That's so funny.
Dude, I remember like when we were like strictly local business, pre-ecom, we would have like a client try to leave and be like, leads suck. And then we would go and I was like so anal about it because I was like, I felt offended to my craft, you know? I'm like, people.
You're like, my leads are good. And I'm going to prove it to you.
Dude, no, really. It was a personal attack because I'm like, yo, you are blessed.
I'm calling this guy right now.
Bro, so I took like the last 21 days and I listened to every call. And I like took every call that should have been a close that people were literally asking for times and jobs. And it was like $75,000 worth. And by the way, in like a 60% margin industry, you know what I mean? This is like a lot of money for these guys. It's like a month plus of work all gone in 21 days. And, bro, I like transcribed. Julian's seen me do this, bro. I like transcribed.
You will create a body of evidence.
Every single one. I'm like, dude, and I send it to them. And they like still don't wrap their head around that. Like, how can you as a business
They're
owner?
like, yeah, that's because you called them. And you're like, but you could have called them.
No, not even. I listened to the recordings of your team who
And
you
they
claim
suck.
are amazing. Like, look at this. They're literally asking them to take their money and they won't. But dude, we like Trent, he runs our auto department, bro. When people like are like leads suck, he picks up the phone, he calls them and he closes like 15 racks of jobs for these guys and then calls them back and he's like, there's 15,000 on your books tomorrow and Thursday. Like, please make sure you guys are calling these leads. Like, we're not ending this relationship. You know, people are stupid.
He whips
bro.
them back into shape, dude.
Dude, honestly, sometimes I'm like, I wish I had just a bunch of these companies because, like, if people just knew how to answer the phone properly, like, game over.
Seriously.
It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, we've had so many of those same experiences. I think you see that so much in local business. I think once you go into the trades, you really start seeing it. Contractors have a reputation for not showing up on time, not, leaving projects half finished and then, never showing up, not calling back. They have a reputation for all that type of stuff. So it's like they come in and I can teach them what feels like to us, basic business stuff. Like we're completely
Literally
transforming the company.
You should show up on time when you told people you were going to be there. And they're like,
bro, I'm like,
dude, that's so smart.
I'm like, confirm
Who
the
taught you
appointment.
this, Eric? Where'd you learn this stuff?
This is crazy. You're a genius, Eric.
But you'd be surprised, bro. We'll be
That's
like,
so funny.
They'll walk me through a client situation. I'll be like, oh, bro, next time, just shoot them a text ahead of time. Let them know you're running 5 minutes late. You won't have to deal with that. Like, it feels so basic, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So in this process of
Game-changing.
growing, what are some takeaways that you would give other people about growing an agency? Like, what have you learned? Like, what has been the most important lessons? It's cool that when you had a sales experience in your previous company that you had setters and closers, because I never had that. And so my perspective on sales is different.
Yeah.
Which like I think in this space it's setters and closers. Now we've turned our team into a bunch of setters and closers essentially. But prior it was just closers because we had so many things coming in. We don't need setters at the end of the day.
Right.
And Lifetime was like that. So like in Lifetime, 72% of my business was self-generated, which means it didn't come from Lifetime's marketing or like people walking in the door. It was like me creating my own leads. The average was like 7%, just for reference. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh,
Lifetime.
So I never
All the
understood setters and closers because like people just came and I closed and I told them to bring more and I closed. You know what I mean? So like even here and same here, like if I get on a call with someone and I look at their company, there's no way in, 45 minutes of talking together that you're not more confident in me than you are in yourself and whoever the fuck is doing it for you. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. It's like, if we're on a call for 45 minutes, I'm going to tell you shit that you're going to be like, why has no one brought this to my attention?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Why has no one thought of this? You know what I mean? And it's just a no-brainer.
They're like they're hiring you for marketing, but they also know that they're on the side. They're like getting more than that. They're like, I'm getting this guy's just giving me good advice in general.
Yeah, well,
about my company,
again, it's like when you go to hire someone, if, you always want to hire the most talented people on your team. So when you talk to someone and then they're obviously know more than you and bring more to the table, then you have to put your trust and your money into that person. That's like what a smart business decision is literally on paper.
And in a lot of ways, we've become exactly what you said. Like, we've literally had people jump on sales calls that they're like, I've heard about these coaching calls you guys do. Because now we started doing, we grew enough where it's like, cool, I am not like taking all these calls, right? So we created a space for them. And we have 2 coaching calls a week. And like, it definitely, we're a marketing company, but it definitely feels like we're just as much a coaching company as we are a marketing company at this point. Like, there's a lot of people that have stayed on with us just because of that and signed up with us because we do that and nobody else does.
Yeah, which is very important. So like touch base on that. That's a the
coaching calls,
big growth factor. Yeah.
Yeah, that part was huge. It was
That's something that we've implemented right now in our company, and we're like moving forward. This is like these guys can tell you, like we're like coaching calls, like we're
courses, coaching calls,
all of it, just filming way more content for people.
100%. I think a lot of it came down to
who does the coaching calls? You?
Yeah, I do them.
Nice.
Our marketing coaches are on them as well. So sometimes they'll like field me questions, kind of interpret things, that sort of stuff. And eventually it won't be me at some point, but I'm in no rush to get there.
And you're the smartest guy right now. So like if someone's going to spend time teaching,
eventually there will be a Kale that takes those over, right?
Kale?
Like a Kale Owen. I was Jim Launch example.
You're so funny. I knew that's what you were saying. I just want to clarify just to make sure that I knew.
But eventually there will be
You're
someone
so
that takes
funny,
that
bro.
over.
It's like we're all just so deep down the like freaking Hormozy rabbit hole and shit like that.
That's exactly. I mean, I was just on a call with Kale like a few days ago. He's honestly like
shit.
one of the nicest dudes. Him and his wife, super cool.
Yeah,
we used to work with them. I love them, honestly. Very nice people and very smart too.
that's sick. I'm jealous.
Yeah, so find you a Kale.
But yeah,
not the vegetable.
exactly.
Just want to clarify for people.
You don't have
in
to
case anybody was confused.
Yeah, so incorporating coaching into your marketing agency as a service.
It became huge. Really, I mean, if you think about it, exactly why do people leave? Like, we know the leads work, so we know it's not that. But what I kind of developed this mantra on the client success end. This is something like we talk about regularly with the client success team is like, no client will ever leave because of our lack of ability or effort. Like that's the game. If they leave because they didn't do things they needed to do on their end and they
or because
know
it didn't work out. Sometimes it just doesn't work, right?
Yeah. And the goal is though, I want to minimize that as much as possible.
Of course. But like,
as long as if we have the ability and if we put in as much effort as possible for that client, and
I mean, bro, we've had clients leave who are like, we love you guys. This was the best marketing agency experience we've ever had. This was awesome. You guys put so much effort. You guys brought the most amount of ideas. We just wanted to hit this other point, and these ideas and the team weren't able to get us there in this time frame. So that's why we're leaving. Like, it happens. Sometimes shit doesn't work out. But like, as long as that relationship severs and it's both sides were like, these guys were really smart and they really gave it their all to try, I feel like that's kind of like where it lies at the end of the day, reputation-wise. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Because we're in an industry that's not guaranteed. Taxes are guaranteed.
Facts. Like, it makes you more mad as a client to feel like you as the agency didn't even try or didn't even care. Like, you're like, you guys didn't even pay attention to my thing.
Yeah, it wasn't a priority.
But if they felt like they were a priority and you gave it your best and it still fell a little short, they're like, I appreciate you guys for trying so hard, but
it just doesn't make sense for me right now. Yeah,
I think from a local business point of view too, like, you know, early on, I can definitely think of a couple where like ads just didn't perform, but like, I can't think of anybody we've lost recently where it was like they left because like they didn't get enough leads.
Oh yeah, but I'm
like,
saying, but even them thinking that their leads sucked and them leaving, but thinking you really did a good job and tried and brought a lot of leads. That's the scenario I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, like on our local business side, we never miss, ever. It's usually a matter of someone else missing the leads that come in.
Exactly.
And not calling them.
So that was
people
the
that
game.
literally don't call them.
And that was the game with the coaching calls was I was like, okay, if my mantra is never fail because of lack of ability or effort, how can I give them every single resource possible where it's like they will never have an excuse? Like, kind of an intense way to think about it, but I was like, cool. Like, I'm going to put all these different checkpoints in here. I'm going to have this person that's a strategic partner with this sales training program and this hiring program and this CRM. I'm going to do these coaching calls where it's like, cool, you're not getting enough appointments, come to the coaching calls. You're struggling with this, come to the coaching calls. Where it's like, any problem you now have in terms of making this service work and or making your business work so the service can work, we can solve. Aside from maybe like you like getting paint, like in ordering materials, like the production side.
Does your team not communicate with them throughout the week?
They're just they do. They drown them in communication. Like, absolutely drown them in communication. Like, maybe that's intense. Like,
it's kind of annoying, right?
I was saying maybe that's a little intense.
They're
but no, like
suffocating.
there's weekly communication. Like, for the most part, each client is getting.
It's not drowning.
If they need it, we do though.
Bro,
this guy's phone doesn't stop ringing. That's how much communication we're having.
I was looking at our Slack channels, and some people literally send like 8,000 messages a month.
Clients?
No, us.
Or us, yeah.
Like,
it's actually wild.
that's drowning in communication.
Yeah, dude.
That's like 300 back and forth a day.
Have you ever noticed though that sometimes people are like very enter happy, where they send you like a line and they're like, blah, blah, blah. Exactly,
all the time.
Boom,
No,
boom, boom.
I
and then there's some people that write like a whole ass message in like one. You know what I mean?
I value
The 8,000 people, I think, are those people. People at the beginning. You know?
not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's just say I know who they are. I know how everyone writes, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll judge it accordingly. Like,
Right.
like sometimes I'll be like fifth and I'll be like, but I write fucking paragraphs. And this person in third sends his paragraph in 10 messages.
Yeah.
Pro
I'm
tip,
like, you know.
what I did was I switched my Slack settings so that enter didn't send.
Mine's
You have to
control enter.
Control enter.
Same.
So amazing.
Game changing.
Game changer.
I'm just good at shift entering.
Yeah. But control enter is a sick save. Because like even when you're like about to do it and you're
It
like,
makes you rethink it.
I'm doing it for real.
Yep. Yeah. Huge hack.
Yeah. It's a good hack.
So
Love that.
control, enter.
Control Enter is the new
You switch
thing.
it in your Slack preferences. So that enter doesn't
This is a
send.
big fire tip.
Enter just brings you down a line, and then Control Enter.
No, I get what it does. It's just like you don't think to do it. I just
It's like in the Bugatti when the
shift
first
enter.
key unlocks the first 500 horsepower, and then the second key unlocks the other. Have you ever seen that?
No, is that real?
Dude, in the Bugatti Veyron, I think it is. It's like you put in the normal key, and it just like basically unleashes only like half of the
8
horsepower.
cylinders.
And then like when you're ready to go top speed, you put in a certain mode, and you
What
have
is
to put
it,
in a
V12,
second
right?
key.
It
Yeah.
unlocks the other four.
You literally put
cylinders.
in a second key while you're on the road, and it's like, and like goes into like a crazier mode. It's like insane, actually.
Like why?
They
Can you
just-
make it
it's-
a button,
they're-
bro?
There's some sports cars that have like the Hellcat, like they have a red key that like unlocks more power than like the regular black key or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. One of
It's like the
Dodge's
Sorcerer's
cars,
Stone or
something
some
like
shit.
that.
They're like, this key unlocks more power.
I'm surprised that keys aren't more functional than they are as a whole.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I really don't understand
Why don't I have a one like fob that does everything that I need it to do?
in life.
Yeah.
Like a
Like
Your
wand.
key, your house.
No, but even just like the house, like if I could
Like
have
a
like a
wand.
house fob, a garage fob, like it was all on one
Well, that's not-
keychain.
It
That
It seems
would
like
be
a really good way to get all your stuff stolen
facts.
immediately.
So true.
I guess, but like
You
why?
gotta know where you live.
No, but like me having an app with a thumbprint on it that does all this shit is not unreasonable.
If you had to
that's
put the
true.
thumbprint,
I
on
should
the
just be able to
fob.
open my garage, open
Yeah,
my
that's true.
gate of my neighborhood, unlock my
Smart.
door of my house.
You're so right.
You know
Business
what I
idea
mean?
right there.
Just like
Somebody
thumbprint
created
near a door. You're welcome, whoever's listening, for creating the next biggest company.
You can steal that.
We're going on
Pay us.
Shark Tank and we're taking it all the way home.
We're
Mark
taking it home
Cuban.
with Cuban. Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna go over the cube.
Dude, both of us said it really quick, so I think we're going
It's
for the
meant to
Cube.
be.
I mean, Shep and them spoke highly of.
George, you as well.
You're right,
We've had 2 guests that know Mark Cuban. That's pretty wild.
and I was on Shark Tank technically. I stood on the X,
Technically,
ready to
You're-
film.
you're
Cameras
like-
live.
you were like next to him.
I did my like they did my makeup. You know, that's where I was at. Like that's got to count for something.
Facts.
So
It's pretty intense.
I'm not gonna get into the future of this company because it seems like you don't even know.
Future Pathfinder?
Yeah.
Oh no, I know.
Where's the
Dude,
path
so this
going?
vision's actually crazy. I've only shared this with like a couple people.
So you found the path.
Yeah, we did. Right, we did.
Do you have to change the
We
name
did.
now? Or I guess you are the Pathfinder now,
Yeah,
They are the Pathfinders. They're showing everyone the way.
and they just found the path.
They found it.
yeah. There's actually a cool story behind the company name. My dad's an IT consultant, just like self-employed. Never grew a big company or whatever, but the name of his company was Pathfinder Consulting. My brother on the real estate side started his company, and the name of his company was Pathfinder Estates. My other brother, I have 2 older brothers, started a 3D printing company, and it was Pathfinder Additive Technology with like a DBA.
Additive technology.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like maybe we can't do business as this.
So then think about it though. I come around and start my company. What am I gonna be the one asshole that doesn't take the Pathfinder name?
Pathfinder.
Like I have to, bro.
Stop.
Like I have to.
So your whole family is the Pathfinder Dynasty.
In a lot of
Holy
ways.
shit, that's amazing.
That's so funny, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it had a logic. 4Media was just like 4 dudes whose last names start with M. I'm like 4M.
You've heard of 3M.
3M.
Now there's
Thinking the same
4M.
Yeah, now we're just taking it up a notch. That's our actual story.
Dude, there's like that meme of the guy with the like beaker and he's looking at it. And there was one time someone wrote it and they're like, behold, 5 media. Like they discovered it or some shit. It was so funny.
That's funny.
I love it.
So thank you again for gracing us with your presence, and I hope there's a lot of takeaways from this story.
Dude, wait, I have to ask you also about the name. Your last name, you were telling me before, on Instagram you go by Eric Fozz, but it's actually just Eric Fasnacht.
Yeah.
Why did you change it?
Yeah. So it's
He's like Gary Vee over here. He's like using a fake last name.
But it makes sense. It's like the abbreviation of his last name.
I know.
yeah, it was all just marketing. I was called Fozz as like a nickname all through like high school and college. But I realized like the way my last name is spelled.
Yo, Fozz, put him in the headlock, Fozz.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Yo, what's up, Fozz?" Like,
It's kind of a cool name.
but yeah, I realized like Fasnacht and the way it was spelled, it wasn't very searchable. So as we started going more on YouTube and building all that more, I was like, dude, nobody's gonna be able to search and be like, yeah, they're talking to their painter friend, and they're like, listen to this guy Eric, begins with an F.
I mean,
Right.
bro, think about Gary Vaynerchuk.
right?
Exactly.
I guess Gary Vee, he did go with
He
it.
did.
So I literally took it from him.
But it took him
I
a
was
long
like,
time to do that.
I was like, maybe I should be Andrew D. No one knows how to say Deitch.
yeah, Eddie
like,
Malouf.
Andrew the douche or something. Type that in. But I just kept it. I was like, fuck it.
It's unique. I like it. It stands out. Everyone knows you.
There's also way too many Andrew D's, so it's like very hard to
You have a
be
strong
the
reputation
Andrew.
for the Deitch name too, you know.
Thank you.
You do cause ripples in the industry.
Thank you, my man.
So tell us, wait, did you ask all your questions before?
I was sorry. I was just saying the Fozz thing because I thought it was funny because I was like, I don't know what he wants to go by on the podcast, if that's just like his stage name, his internet name.
No, in a lot of ways, like that's like, yeah, that's just the internet name. It's cool. Like I've like almost created this like little alter ego for myself where it's like, all right, business, I'm Eric Fozz. Like personal life, I'm Eric Fasnacht. Which in a lot of ways is
Different personalities.
Cool. Not really.
I mean, come on, they have slight characteristic differences.
Yeah, for sure.
With the Fozz, you're putting on the show a little bit more.
Yeah, in a little bit.
You're
Like in your normal life,
cast
you're not
member.
like making videos, like talking to the camera and shit. Like you gotta, like if you're gonna be a content person, you have to like step it up a little bit sometimes. You know?
What is it? Cast member, right? In Disney.
Yeah. You're a cast member.
In a lot of ways, like I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I'm definitely this way where like behind a Zoom screen or like on a coaching call, like I'm the most extroverted person out there. Like I'll yell at somebody, tell them their whole business is effed up, and like I'll get intense.
Yeah.
But like my personal life, like if it's a group of people I don't know, like I'm actually pretty introverted.
Yeah, you don't talk
Yeah.
much in groups that you don't know.
Yeah. Once I know people, then I'm the same way. But it's like, yeah. So in a lot of ways, it's like, yeah, behind a Zoom screen in business, like I'm that person, but
You're the Fozz.
there you go. Exactly.
Stop, Andrew. So tell us. Oh yeah, take a gulp. Take a gulp. So
Ooh, that was a nice little ASMR.
that was nice. You know how these things end, man. You know, just an Asian restaurant, fortune cookie slips on your table. You open this thing and it's supposed to change your life. What does it say, bro? What does your fortune cookie say, Eric?
Yeah. So I was telling you guys, I thought like a lot about this because I've watched almost every episode of the podcast.
So you had to be like different, unique. You know what I mean? You're not going to throw something that someone else has maybe thrown.
You know, I'll be honest, I don't remember exactly what everyone else said. So like I might.
We should make like a highlight reel of just all of them.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you guys
we should.
90-second reels now. Oh my god.
Spicy.
Slap.
Yeah,
Like a 2-part.
Spicy.
Anyways.
Because sometimes a good reel has to be like 70 seconds. And you're just like, I can't say everything I want to say. I've cut it all down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 parts.
Or you had those ones that were like
Yeah.
62 seconds, and you're like, how do I?
Literally.
Last couple.
You're like, I've got to cut out a whole idea.
Don't
now.
get me started, bro. You know how many times I would retake videos? Oh, it was so toxic. Because intros and outros and all these other things, you would have to cut your video at like 57 seconds to have a chance. I'd film, and I'd see the timer. It'd be like 48, 49. I'm like, and so, so there's one point that's really important. I just want trying to get it out. I'm like, listen, just cut out like 4 seconds wherever you can. Let's make this happen. You know
That's
what I mean?
hilarious.
So what's your advice?
So
there's no timer on this.
On the 40.
Yeah,
Thank you.
on the advice. You're good.
this can be a 3-part reel. But no, I thought a lot about it, and I think the advice that impacted me the most, as cliche as it was fall in love with the process, and the process will be good to you. It's like super cliche, but I had a coach like break it down and explain it to me, where it was like, once I stopped caring about the result, this is a true story. When I was learning sales in that like 5-month period, right, I couldn't sell anything. And obviously I was very focused on the outcome because I was broke. Like I needed the money.
Yeah.
And
$2.60.
yeah, well at that point I was making a couple thousand, whatever, but I was broke. It was rough. And I wanted it so bad so that I could, move out of my brother's spare bedroom and everything. And I had a coach tell me this where it's like, hey, like if we just focus less on the money and we just focus on being the best salesperson we can be, like everything else will kind of fall into place. And literally like every single morning I'll like write down like what my goal is and then like action steps to get closer to it at the end of the day as like a little self-reflection process, right? At the end of that day, there was a day, I can't even make it up, where I was just writing down some of my thoughts, and I literally wrote down, I don't even care about the money anymore, I just want to win the game. and the next day I closed like my first sale. Like you can't even make that up. It was like a shift in my brain.
How many months was it? It was a while, right?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 months that like I just couldn't sell anything
Crazy.
when I just started the company. But since then, like that, like I don't know how it switched in my brain, but that pivot where it was like, I actually don't care about the money in a lot of ways. Like it really does not matter at a certain point. Like I just love playing the game. Like the game is the goal in a lot of ways. Like playing the game and getting better at the game and finding ways to improve and become a better person along the way.
Like as far as a salesperson, like a closer.
As far as
I
like
think he's
my
saying
game
life.
and the game of business, the game of life. Yeah. Like how can I continue
Just
to be the
leveling
best
up.
person I can be? Yeah. As a friend, as a son, as a business person, as a teammate, like everything.
I feel that.
And just trying to build it better every single day. Like hard work is the goal. The game and playing that to the best of your ability is the goal. And like that shift like made it a lot more fun and brought a lot more peace along the way.
That's great advice, man.
Killer advice.
Very wise.
Well said.
Thought
Nate,
about that for a while.
how many parts are we cutting that one into?
Man, at least like 3,
3-part reel, baby. Eric Fozz.
It was good. It was
No,
good.
on a real note though, I really enjoyed your presence. Thank you, bro, for such a young, you're 24 years old. It's pretty cool to see you, what you've accomplished. And I think a lot of times we don't like pat ourselves in the back for like the teams that we're building, the process, like Andrew was saying today. Like I didn't realize how much I even know about this, and like so much of this information is necessary, but like I just know it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool how far you've come to. I haven't known you for long. I've known you for like a year.
We are almost doubled since agency founders. Like
That's crazy.
Just shy of that. Like,
Dude, that's sick.
yeah,
Honest thoughts on the conference, like for my sake,
bro.
Not even on camera. Like I don't even care.
Best, like no, literally off record. Best conference we've been to. You gave me some like incredible advice because I was going to a different event.
I usually do.
No, but for real, this was life-changing advice, bro. I messaged you after.
Damn.
I was going to another conference and like I posted something on my story because like it was in a cool location and everything. And you were like, yo, like have fun, like learn a lot or something. And I was like, I will, bro. Like we'll see if it compares to agency founders. And you were like, don't compare it to something else. Just take each thing for what it is. And like that's something I started doing just like in my life. Like don't compare this relationship to this past relationship you had with this girl. Like take each thing for what it is separately. Like actually life-changing
It's
advice.
a lot deeper than
Like,
people think it is.
Yeah. It was
You
like,
took it the depth that I wanted you to take it to.
yeah.
Yeah, because I know which conference you're talking about too. Just completely separate
Yeah.
vibes, objectives, things that you could pull out of it. And so I was just like,
Well, and here's the thing.
if ever we're gonna be like, is the food as good as the food here? Is this as good as this here? It's just never gonna win.
But no, for perspective on agency founders, so I've had this. I took a team member to that event.
Who was it? Your COO? Who was?
No,
your
we don't have
account
a
manager?
COO yet. Yeah, she was like a marketing coach at the time.
Yeah.
Now she's moved into senior marketing coach. She's my right hand in the company
Okay.
in a lot of ways. She's a beast. And I brought her to that event, and it was cool. Like she learned a lot in a lot of ways, but especially now, like several months removed from it all, if I look at all the events I've been to, like what event did she need to be at to level up the most? Agency founders. Like,
Respect.
nothing else, bro. Like, yeah, not even close. Like
Yeah.
that's the, like maybe it wasn't as like, oh, this crazy location or whatever,
Yeah,
but it was
yeah.
like, that's the event like people need to be at to like level up the most.
Nice.
Hell
Hell yeah,
Cut
baby.
that as a promotion,
sick.
baby.
Hell yeah, baby. Dude, his company
That's sick.
doubled since. That's huge.
That's sick.
I mean, it's not like all like, oh, because of agency founders, but like
Yeah.
they fucking
That's sick,
took
man.
shit out of it and fucking ran. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait till
It's
next
so
year. Bro.
cool.
It's gonna be fucking. Ooh, we're planning it.
Dude.
We're starting planning tomorrow, by the way.
Really?
Literally
Like,
tomorrow.
You guys need to
on
do
the
2 a year,
calendar,
bro.
Huh?
I'm telling you guys.
Everyone's
need to do 2 a
telling us
year.
that, bro. People are begging
A
us. for
summer
2
and a
year.
winter one.
Dude, putting on events is a
It's
no
just a lot.
fucking
We're doing
joke.
it, bro, and it's not our job. Do you get my point? Like,
Yeah.
we're like, we want
Doing a whole other job on top of our jobs.
Like-
It's like we want to throw an event, dude.
Dude, I don't think you understand the efficiency we're operating at. That's why sometimes I'm like, how the fuck did our team get bigger and not get more efficient sometimes? Bro, for those 3 months, we had, let's take September, October, November, December. We not only planned in through agency founders and sold tickets, but we also had Q4 in e-commerce, which is literally 2 months equal 10 other months.
It's make or break.
And we smashed the event.
Bro, the event
And-
also ran smoothly.
Butter smooth.
Like having gone to so many events, like dude,
There's always something that goes haywire.
It's always a mess. It's always a clusterfuck. You never know.
So
where
question,
you're
did you, this is important.
the attention
this
to
is
detail.
This is super important. Like just my feedback loop here. Because I never asked someone this, but like so many people asked us to buy something at the end. Afterwards, like, hey, is there anything else? Is like another event? Is there like a program where we're all getting high level together? Like, what's the deal here? I'm like, no, nothing. We don't want to pitch anything. Was it
They're like,
bad?
why not?
Was it bad or good that we didn't? Because like from a profitability standpoint, it definitely hurts the money that is made. It's like so insignificant if you don't do that. But I wanted it to be appreciated, and I don't know if it was even valued. Because at the end, people were like, wait, no, I want to buy something.
yeah.
It's like I almost pissed people off by not selling things.
Good of an event in a lot of ways where people actually wanted it. I valued there not being a pitch. You know, I think it's like that's the thing in the industry. Everybody's sitting at an event. They're like, oh, I wonder if this one's the pitch one, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
sitting there waiting for it, and it kind of takes away from the event in a lot of ways. So no, I
You feel like at agency founders, like it was all the way up until the end that people are like, here comes the pitch. Here comes the pitch.
No,
here comes
you
the
guys
pitch.
said at the
We said
beginning.
it multiple
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
already.
At the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
The
then.
problem though is like we're all marketers.
Yeah, we're like,
Yeah, right. There's no
Yeah,
pitch.
right.
Straight value. And then
So
the
many
last day,
events
it's
do
like,
that.
we lied to you guys.
So we
There
said there's
is
no
a
pitch.
pitch.
But between the time that we told you and now, we have
all-
come up with a pitch
We came together for this pitch.
that you're going to want to hear.
But no, bro, we're all marketers. So you go to events where people tell you there's no pitch, and then somehow,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, it's
There's a side
woven
pitch.
in there. But
You're like, it wasn't a pitch. It was a lob.
But here's a trade-off. It's like you have to make event tickets more expensive to provide an experience.
But then what that caused, like your event tickets were decently priced, right?
Yeah.
But it caused a really high quality.
high quality. That's
There's
what I love
nobody
the
sitting
most,
there in the
bro.
room doing 8K a month. Like
No.
that doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I go to these other events and like I'm just like shit, man, I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah, our cheapest tickets were $5K. So like,
Yeah. Like I'd rather have
no
you
one just
charge
throws
10
$5K.
and like yeah.
No, you know what happened, right, bro? We're like, hey, tickets are 10K and 5K. VIP is 10, 5 is regular. Immediately, we sold 22 tickets, all VIP. We had to shut down VIP right away. Right away, we're like, holy fuck, wait, no more VIP tickets, or everyone's gonna be VIP. That's
Like
the crowd
everyone
we
at the
have.
whole event would
The
be
whole
VIP.
event
and
was
it's just like,
there was gonna be no VIP. Right?
I hate to break it to you guys. You all could have totally just bought the regular. You're all VIP at this point.
So we had to kill it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh my God.
Because that's the crowd. They're like, wait, I just want to be with like the
best of the
crowd.
best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pay double. I'm already paying for everything else to go there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I appreciate that. So cut all that shit out. Eric, where can someone find you if they want to follow you? You're putting out more content than you ever have, so I respect the fuck out of that.
Yep.
Which
Came from you.
now, thank you. Hey, it came from us. Nate, he participates in that too.
Yep.
Yeah, where can people find you? You know, now you're worth following because you're actually posting shit. Before you were kind of like a ghost.
Yeah. See previous comment about Eric Fozz. It's literally just at Eric Fozz, Fozz on all platforms.
But Eric's not spelled with a K.
No, Eric is with a C. I wish it
Yeah,
was
more
with a K.
detail.
I always give my parents a hard time about that. I think it looks way better with a K. But it's Eric with a C.
You think so?
I think so.
I
It
rock
gives it
with
that like hard edge.
what, the K?
Yeah, it's like Eric.
Yeah.
Definitely a little more edgy.
But like Eric with a C stands out to me a lot. It's like also your last name is like Fasnacht. You know what I mean? So it's like, where is this Eric with a C from? Is he from Germany, Poland?
From Germany. I mean, I'm not from Germany, but
Of course,
it's very German.
But you know, it adds to the what's the word?
Mysteriousness.
No, just like I don't know, ethnical background. I don't fucking know. But anyways,
I know what
Something
you
like
mean.
that.
So Eric Fozz, EricFozz. You got like YouTube or any shit right now? You get
Yep.
into that shit?
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of it.
Okay, where's the number one? No one's gonna follow you everywhere.
Instagram's number one for
Okay.
sure.
Okay, find him on the gram, people. Go give Mr. Eric Fozz a follow.
Watch his reels. Run up those views.
Run up those views. Send him a DM. Tell him, hey Eric, it's a pleasure listening to you today. But thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it. I know you're in town for just a short period of time. You made this shit happen, and hopefully, you know, other people listening will, you know, see this 20-year-old dropout who got his shit together and did more than most people would dream of achieving in their life. So respect to you, bro. Thanks.
Yeah, totally.
Sweet.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the 4Media Uncut podcast. If you want to work with us, learn with us, or even join the team and be a part of what we're doing at 4Media Marketing, just go to our website. It's 4media.marketing. No .com, no .net, .marketing, because that's all we do around here. And most importantly, share this with a friend wherever you're listening to or watching this on. Please hit that share button, send it over to a friend, someone else that you think will get value out of this. It would mean the world to us.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video and comment down below any suggestions for future guests. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please rate this 5 stars and leave us a review there. That helps us tremendously in the algorithm world. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of 4Media Uncut Podcast.